By the time you showed up, you're only 7 minutes late. After I told you I was going to be 10 minutes late.
Yeah, I was basing it off.
It probably takes some time to look that good.
Thanks, guys.
Did you just do your hair?
Huh?
You just do your hair?
No.
Looks like freshly combed.
You've been working on this all morning?
That's why he's late.
I got a boy blushing.
Ooh. Is it getting hot in here?
I know, jeez.
I can't smell it from over here, but he has cologne on. Smells good.
It smells great.
I put cologne on every day.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I'm glad it's him sitting next to me and not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Cole,
I
you look.
look and smell terrible right now.
A godly man that takes action. Our true identity, if we are a Christ follower, is in Him and Him alone.
And ultimately, if you're a follower of Jesus, you have the Spirit of God dwelling inside of you, equipping you to fight.
And when you chase after Jesus, when you begin to worship Him and begin to give Him all that you have to give, there's nothing that this world can throw at you that you can't look at in the face and say, you know, I'm good with it.
Let's get it!
So I read the Power of Habit, and it talked about how Febreze is used not to make odors go away, but it was used at the end of when you clean. It has that smell of cleanness when you spray Febreze after you get done cleaning.
Yeah.
So that's what I do now. It's a habit. Every time I get done, I feel nice, ready to go, and then I go.
Nice.
So
you use Febreze as your cologne?
no.
That's what I
use
was thinking.
cologne. Sorry.
What? Like around your house? Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, the study showed that Febreze was having a hard time selling their product because they shaped it around you spray it whenever you smell something bad. But the problem with it is people who live in houses that smell bad don't think their house smells bad. So they found that people are actually using Febreze after they get done cleaning, so it has that clean smell.
Makes sense.
That was a fear of mine growing up, that my house smelled bad, and I didn't know it.
I know, because you can never smell.
Yeah.
Does my house smell bad when you walk in?
No, I think it smells great.
Okay, good. Just checking. Jared, your house smells nice.
Thank you.
Well, welcome to another Good With It podcast.
Welcome.
We're here.
We're here. Does anybody have a quote?
I don't. I have a joke.
All right.
Yeah, let's do a joke today.
Set up.
You know why we're doing a joke today? Because this is the first time in like 10 recordings that we're actually all four together. Believe it or not, this is the Good With It fellas.
Feels good.
Hey.
There's no special guest today. It's all of us.
Look at us.
Look at
Wow.
us.
Look at us.
Finally.
Are you ready for this
Yeah.
joke? What is the worst thing about a cliffhanger?
Please tell us.
Do I have to guess? Dang it, Mitch.
That was the
You're the
joke.
worst.
That was so funny. I forgot to laugh.
I would say the joke that I said yesterday, but I don't know if it's appropriate on this. So,
Listen, I'll support you in whatever you do.
it'll be okay. It'll be for next week's pod.
Yeah, save it for next
I've already insulted Cole this today. He walked in and he's been bragging about his new boots. I said, "Those aren't the new boots, are they?"
I was new boot goofing today. I took
And I
a hard
spat
turn
on
in my
him.
boot style, but I've officially turned into a dad. 3 things in this world.
You're rocking the
Yeah.
5-inch, 6-inch. Is that what it is?
Yeah, so
What are those called again?
Danners.
Danners.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're Danners.
I was gonna say that's a nice. That's a nice boot.
Yeah. I mean, it's they're not cheap.
They ain't
New
cheap,
boot
that's for
goofing?
sure.
No, I'm new boot goofing today, and I tell you, I was so proud of them the other day. I had a buddy of mine tell me about these boots right here, this style, and I kind of made fun of him for it because I'm like, dude, they look hideous. Until I put them on in the store, and I haven't taken them off since. They're the most comfortable thing I've ever worn in my life.
Wow.
I'm gonna go hiking in them.
So comfort,
We should go hiking.
ease of putting on,
That's how you know I'm officially turned into a dad.
all of those things
Oh,
are a big
no.
deal to you. And you don't really care how they look. You're really turning into a dad.
Well, I could never.
Do you have any other things to say?
His feet would be busting.
I
at the seams.
I could not wear Hey
Make it
Dudes on a
extra
daily
wide.
basis.
I don't know.
Jared, the weight of my body would press down on that weak sole of those right there.
Have you seen? Yeah,
croc-
Crumble.
lean on me. Them boys got some lean on me. That'd be cool. It'd be spilling out of the sides. His
My
foot
feet would be busting out of those cheaply made shoes right there. You could probably buy 10 pairs of Hey Dudes for what you could probably buy these bad boys for. Because they're
Danners are not cheap,
proud of.
but they last a while. I still have my Danners.
Good boots.
Two
Big Danner guy. But normally I'm going to slip on Got to get used to the laces.
So
It's true. You have always been a slip-on zip-up guy.
Always.
I have a pair. Those are very, very nice. So what have the fellas been up to since we haven't been together for the past
Where do
bit?
we begin?
When was the last time we've been on a pod together?
It was June. It was the month of June.
in June.
I think like middle June. Was it the Father's Day podcast?
It was the weekend before
4th of July.
July.
Okay.
No. Because we had talked about the 4th of July. And we talked about. Oh, wait. No, you were here.
I was here.
Yeah, everybody was here for that.
I wasn't here.
You weren't there for that one. That's right.
I wasn't here the week after 4th of July because you
That's
guys
right.
talked about the water wars. I didn't.
Yeah, that's
I didn't
right,
get
you
to
weren't
partake
here.
in that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's all been a blur.
Yeah,
It's almost August,
it is.
Well, I was going to say something. I didn't know if we want to bring it up or not.
please.
There's only 32 days, boys,
Is that all?
to come.
5.5 weeks.
I was trying to think of the theme song to start.
Ba-na-na, dun, dun-na-na. Dun-na-na-na.
Da-da-da.
That anymore. That's not a thing anymore.
That's
is it?
that's
think it is.
CBS, right?
We have another year of
Have
it.
one more year of CBS? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I never hear that. So
I'm actually very
y'all?
excited though.
Are y'all still ABC?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
ABC. Yeah.
Yeah. They're in that deal for like
CBS is going to the Big 10. Mm-hmm. So no more Big Noon kickoff.
they'll have Big Noon kickoff too.
That's true.
It'll be
I like
Fox,
Big Noon.
CBS the number
Yeah.
2 game, and then NBC
Noon
will be
kickoffs.
the number 3
Yeah,
game.
I like Big Noon kickoff.
Gus Johnson losing his mind.
It's growing on me.
Yeah. Imagine being
I'm not a big ESPN guy anymore.
out west and waking up to a 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock football game.
It's wild.
That would be like you can watch football all day long.
Drinking coffee, watching football in the morning.
Man,
So are we gonna have
Dream.
a schedule this year for every weekend watching football? Different. We're gonna do a rotation, houses and whatnot.
yeah, that's good for me. I blocked out my entire fall. I don't have
nothing
anything
planned
planned.
this fall other than feeding a baby,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
and I can't even really do that. So
Yeah, you're useless in that. Just hand it off.
Unless
Him off.
let's hope Lindsay doesn't hear that. But yeah,
But I'm pretty pumped about it.
yeah, very much so.
It's nostalgic has been kicking in, going on reels and seeing all those.
Yeah, it's about the time I go back and start watching YouTube highlights.
Yeah.
Just random games.
It's one of those the major right hit back in what was it 2010?
Oklahoma.
Actually,
would've
you
been
know,
ejected
August
for-
8th, we get the documentary that comes out. Swamp Kings.
yeah.
That's next week.
I'm surprised they didn't label it
Weeks.
preachers and prisoners.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I knew they were going to come out with a documentary about
doubt.
that. After
doubt.
after everything with
It's a
Aaron
4-part.
Hernandez.
Well, I think the Gators are only one part of the documentary because it's like a 4-part series. It's because there's one section on Johnny Manziel, one piece about the Gators.
Are they doing this like each week is one episode?
I don't know, or
That
they're
would
all
make sense 'cause
releasing.
It sounds
it.
like they're leading.
I think they're releasing the full thing like they normally do, but it's just one episode.
Okay.
Hey, what's the show on Max that is it Hard Knocks, School of Hard Knocks?
NFL.
NFL, they're going, they're doing the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. I saw a meme that said Aaron Rodgers looks like a dad who dressed up for Halloween as Aaron Rodgers. And his,
Yeah, because his jersey is like so just.
I know, and his helmet, I think his helmet like sticks up.
Yeah.
It's old shut.
What a guy.
What a
You a
guy.
shut guy?
No, I never. Well,
He probably didn't even have
maybe my
Revo Speeds
freshman.
back when he played.
You had a revolution. Was that the big?
I bet he had a
Revolution was
back
the
in
big
day.
Had the
was,
Tebow?
was the thing.
Did you have the Tebow?
That's
That's
Revolution.
what I had the Tebow face mask.
I don't know.
I never had a revolution.
I had it. It was very uncomfortable.
I had a DNA.
Oh, the Speed's the most comfortable
Oh,
thing I've
yeah.
ever put on my head.
I
You
try
don't know what
to.
it feels like, do you, Jarrett?
I don't.
Tell you what, Saturday when you come over to
was-
the house, I've got mine.
I'll bring mine too.
Bring yours. We'll do some board drills in the backyard, and
Video or
I'll let
FaceTime
you-
me. do
I'll let you
something.
try it on.
I'll make myself available.
I don't know if my head's ready for some more funny story. I was always joked about that I was the firstborn into my family, and my family really didn't. They took good care of me, but they didn't know how to necessarily handle a newborn baby. So I hit my head a lot. Well, this is also checks out. This is also part of that. Me and Cole were 8th graders on the Alcilla varsity football team. We had just been moved up from JV because, that's how our school was. It was K through 12. And we were
athletes.
And we were,
we were
were
athletes. So short.
Yeah,
Y'all
we
were
were
studs.
athletes.
Come on, maybe.
We were playing over there in Gainesville.
Shout out O'Call.
Yeah, O'Call.
Go Eagles.
Me and Cole really had no business. We were not. We just knew we were not going to play at all. And so we did something. I don't remember. Scored a touchdown probably. And we looked at each other and we were like, "Yeah!" And we did the biggest headbutt. This was. We didn't know that. We didn't know nothing about.
feel it?
Yeah.
Seeing stars.
We hit each other on, and I immediately went woozy and nauseous.
You probably got concussed.
Yeah. So later the last game of the year that year was like 4 games later. Actually, the very first game we went back, you remember we were in 8th grade, right? We just went from being the alphas on the JV team to just the peons at the practice squad heroes. And very first practice we go to, they just played Hawthorne High School the week prior. And if you know anything about this, just outside of Gainesville, and Osceola is the complete opposite of Hawthorne High School in every way possible. Like they have all the athletes, we had no athletes. So they had a rule. Every
Touchdown.
every
point.
Every point you had to run 40 yards if you lose by the deficit. So we had to run 40 40s. Or it was like 44 40s.
Yeah.
And we just showed up on a Monday ready to go. We had to run these 44 40s. But you earn the respect of the boys that way. But I'll never forget the last game of the year that year. We were beating this team. We were smoking them. So they finally let the 8th graders into play. What position were you playing? We were all on defense, right?
Safety.
Okay, I think I was playing defensive end, and I was just casually. So they running down the field. I'm just casually trotting down the field, and this guy just comes and just blindsides the stew out of me, and I'm out for 5 seconds. I get up, I'm stumbling back to the sideline. They had to put the rock salts on me. Right?
Oh gosh!
The first time I ever had rock smelling salts, I was freaking out. Didn't know what was happening to my soul. The next play, my buddy Levi Cobb, who was the alpha on the team that year, he said, "Cole, who was it?" I couldn't even tell. Somebody pointed him out. Next play, knocks him out cold, breaks his leg, and he's done for the year. That's when you know you got the respect of the boys on the team.
Golly.
Looking
All right.
after them.
Man.
I remember going in that I was playing safety, and I got one tackle. And all I can hear was Eric Bird from the stands going, "Attaboy, AB!" yelling. Then you had Richard over there.
I was gonna say you're wanting me. I want to. Cole, what would your dad say?
That's my seed.
That's what he'd say. Yep. We don't have to talk about that.
Right. Cole's very proud of that.
Yep.
Well, since we're reliving our football past, Mitch, you got a great story. Do you remember it?
You talking about me getting knocked out? You talking about me getting knocked out? Which time?
You talking about the one he had to go to the hospital?
Not the water fountain one.
You want me, have I told you the water
The one
fountain?
where they they.
Oh, we were working out, man. I was just getting water, and I was told it was my turn to go, so I tried to run. I just framed the wall, and I mean perfect on the temple. And I started throwing up. It was bad. Yeah, I got knocked out by some dude from Wakulla County High School. I don't remember the dude's name. It was 4th and 1, and I ran a QB power, and I dove, and he didn't even have to touch me. I was diving, and he just dove right down. Head butted.
On the back of the head?
Yeah. Yeah. Got in the ambulance, got the full trip.
They cut his jersey in half.
They did. I still have that jersey.
Still had it just hang on a chair.
They cut the shoulder pads off of me too, because there was how there's the bar
ropes?
Yeah, there was that bar because they were power pads or whatever. Yeah,
Now, do you
didn't have
remember
something that
anything
fancy.
when that
I
happened?
kind of remember everything. So part of me, was I really ever knocked out? I don't know. I do remember being in the ambulance and the lady put the IV port in me just to be safe, and she forgot to close it. So there was
Spider-Man.
blood just going.
Watch out, Warzone!
And my head was strapped down, so I was like, "What is happening?" But yeah, I thought you were talking about my interception. But
Oh, yeah, let's talk about the interception.
Oh yeah. The highs.
interception,
You got it.
Felipe Franks.
Felipe Franks, yeah.
Shout out Felipe.
It was a terrible throw by him.
Ex-Florida/Arkansas quarterback.
Yeah, that is true.
He plays for the Falcons now, right? I think he's tied in.
He was.
Tight end?
No.
Yeah.
Are you talking
he
about his
moved
brother?
position?
Really?
No, he changed positions.
Huh.
Tell us that story. That's a good story.
Yeah, it was just a little 10 and out route that the slot receiver was running.
Played for Wakulla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I undercut it. He threw a terrible throw. Like he threw it like 2 yards behind him. It was like the ball was on top of me before I knew it.
He had a cannon.
He about ripped my gloves off. So yeah, it was, that's my claim to fame.
That was a good.
That team was stacked though because they had his brother who played at UCF and they also had Keith Gavin
who played
who
at.
ended up playing at FSU.
Yeah.
Those were 2 receivers. I don't remember who anybody.
Who was
He's
the
on the
guy that
roster
played
right now.
for?
Listed as
Played for
tight end.
Florida. That played at Taylor County your year.
Morrill?
Uchi, yeah.
Yeah, ended up playing tight end. He caught a handful. I mean, I remember he caught one in the LSU game. That was a pretty big one. He caught like I
He was
think
just a
3 or 4.
big dude.
Yeah. Jared, you got any glory day tales while we're on it?
I actually never. I never got like a concussion. I got my bell
Nice.
rung
I had enough for you to make up
a
for you. Then.
lot, but I never got like knocked out or concussion or anything.
Good for you.
I had 4.
Say it like you're proud of it.
The biggest so 8th grade, I had never played tackle football, played flag football growing up. Went to a high school much like Alcilla, probably a little bit bigger, but a lot like Alcilla. And we went to a camp at Appalachian State every summer, they did. And so 8th grade going to 9th grade year is first time playing tackle football. The first day we go out there and first time ever putting pads, helmet on, anything like that, get all dressed out. We do stretches and there's probably 5 or 6 like 5 and 6A public schools at this camp with us. And so one of the first after stretching, the first thing we do is Oklahoma drills.
Oh gosh,
Classics.
anxiety is already.
And so I'm standing on the sideline, and they're like, I've never tackled, I've never done any of this. So the coaches are like, coaching me up, like, you got to break down, keep your, head up, don't lower your, all the safety protocol type things. And I'm like, all right. And so I sit there and watch it for like 5 minutes. And I mean, these are grown men. And I had graduated at like 150 pounds. So 9th grade, I'm 110, 115 pounds probably. And so he's like, all right, you ready to get in there? I was like, let's go, Foshi. Let's do it. So I get back there, and I played the defensive back. So, you line up like right with the wide receiver, and then you've got the 2 linemen, the 2 defensive linemen, the linebacker and the running back. And so I shed the block like nothing, like easy. I'm like,
Oh boy.
and the running back is all of 6'2", 6'3", 210 pounds. He's like starting running back for some big 6A
Got the legs.
public.
Got the legs.
at the knees, go to the knees.
So I shed my block. He eludes the linebacker, and like it felt like for 15 seconds it was me and him in the open field, just like looking at each other.
Slowed down.
And everything's like slowing down, and I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to be doing. I break down, and I thought he just juked the mess out of this linebacker. Like, surely he's going to try to put a move. He did not try to put a move on me.
Straight
he
through.
literally just lowered his head and ran as fast as he could right at me. He did go down.
There we go. Yeah.
Boy,
He fell over top of me.
Oh,
Listen, you
doesn't
made this
matter.
he's down.
But he did
Shoestring
go
tackle.
down. But I don't think that my body could have gone from upright to flat on my back any faster than it did. That was my introduction to tackle football. So
Okay, I'll have one more story and then we can go to our break. But it's the very first time I played, very first game playing football. I was in 7th grade. So that AB was like, I was probably a little bit shorter now. I grew up like tall quick, but I was probably 120 pounds.
If that.
Just tiny.
was a
But I was fast, so I got on the kickoff team. We were playing Madison Central. Okay. Madison Central at the time had a bunch of kids who had failed and been held back. So there was 16-year-olds on that team,
They were big, too.
like 16, 17, like big old boys. And I remember it's me and Cole on kickoff. For whatever reason, we're teamed up together. And I remember watching them line up across from me. And these guys, to this day, it's like, you watch Space Jam and the monsters come out? That's what I felt like happened. Yeah. And I remember running. They kicked the ball off, we're running, and we hit the first line, and it's like It's like I felt like I was storming D-Day, and guys were just dropping left and right. Cole gets smacked right beside me. I mean, just pummeled, and I made it through the first line of defense. And I'm like, holy cow, I think I'm going to do this. As soon as I said this dude from wherever, I don't know, hits me so stinking hard to where when I start, I think they ran it back and scored a touchdown. I think when I got up, I started trotting to the other sideline, to their sideline, until they said, hey, you need to go
Go to the other side.
side.
Yeah. Golly.
That was my intro to football. And then proceeded the next kickoff. I was so scared I ran behind the kicker. Because
Hey, you're just last line of defense.
Yeah, I was like,
your
yeah, just
safety
gonna- yeah.
instinct was kicking in.
Yeah.
That'd be that last line.
Man,
Good times.
good times.
Good times.
nothing better in the entire world
That's-
than that right there.
That's why that's America's sport.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Give it to me
I just
all
agree
day.
to disagree.
There's nothing more. There's nothing more American and just the backbone of this country than high school football at its core.
Good Friday Night Lights is
Good.
Friday
Nothing
Night Lights,
better.
there's nothing like it for sure.
Nothing
Your
better.
eyes
Full hearts.
can't lose.
Well, we're going to talk about another sport that's approaching and upon us here in a couple weeks. A little bit different than baseball and football.
I would say as American, maybe.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
in which Cole is an expert.
Expert.
So we discussed this last night, and I made a mental note that we were going to do this today, and I completely forgot, and I have done no research.
Go.
So it'll
So
be good.
here we go.
We're going to take a break and give Cole a few minutes to gather his thoughts. And we're going to be back to talk about the CrossFit Games, who we think is going to podium, who's going to do well, some of our dark horses, and it's going to be a good time. So stick around. We'll be right back.
All right. Are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Good With It podcast. CrossFit Games are coming up next week. Next Wednesday. Is that correct?
First, I think, is when it kicks off.
August 1st,
I think it's something like that.
next Tuesday.
Fired up for that. It's going to be really good. So we're going to give you our podium finishers, who we think is going to podium. Are we saying the winner? Are we saying our winner as well? Or are we
Yeah,
just saying
I
the
think
podium?
so.
Okay.
What we think 1, 2, and 3 will be.
And
a
then
dark horse.
then we have a dark horse. So we're going to kick it to Cole first. I'm just kidding. Cole,
So I was
Cole goes
I was-
first.
I
Cole
was
goes first.
thinking-
We'll do male
Well, this-
podium, male dark horse, female podium, female dark horse.
Yeah.
Well, right now I got my females on there.
We'll do female first.
Yeah,
Ladies
we'll do
first.
females. Yeah.
I was gonna do Tia Claire. She was gonna be my favorite.
That's a safe bet. However,
However,
she just had a baby.
she's out. I really wanted
Even
Tiara.
though I do think she could probably still go in there and would
She could.
She
probably podium.
yeah.
Because of that, I want Laura Horvath.
Well, that's
All right,
a great.
that's a solid pick.
Is that your winner?
Is that your winner?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
The last name Horvath just catches my eye.
Thank you, Andrew.
That is a distant relative. I don't see them related at all, but I
She's
think they're
Hungarian,
related.
so I don't.
Okay.
She doesn't.
That makes sense. She's a bulk CrossFitter.
Okay.
She's on the weight side then.
So you got first place. Who's your second and third?
Second and third, you know what? I'm going to go Mallory O'Brien.
That's a bold choice because
Okay.
she's not competing.
But she would have definitely
well,
podiumed.
Barbend is wrong.
It's a bold strategy. What?
Barbend.com is wrong then.
It's a bold strategy, Colin.
Their 18-year-old Mallory O'Brien has done that too. When
Right,
CrossFit
Mal O'Brien, number
canceled-
2.
Al O'Brien, number 2. Leave it in. Number 3.
Number 3, we're going to go with Annie Thriss daughter.
His daughter. Yes, that's a good.
That's not a bad.
That's not a bad. That's not a bad bet.
Yep. All right.
Who's your dark horse?
Dark horse. You know what? I've heard of this lady before. I've heard y'all discuss Brooke Wells.
That's another bold choice because she
Very
did
good.
not qualify for the games. She's not in. but listen,
say
we're leaving it in.
Barbell's got to work on their
Say
article.
Sydney Wells. Sydney
Say
Wells.
Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney.
Her twin sister.
Okay. You know what? They could do the 2-in-1. Like, how can you tell they're twins?
That's
Yeah.
It's true.
We're going with the Wells sisters then.
Okay.
There you
That's
go.
a 2-in-1 odds right there now.
go.
I like it,
I like
okay.
it.
Playing
So you got
chess.
Horvath, Mal O'Brien, and Annie Thor
I'm
daughter.
gonna genuinely ask you this. First of all, what channel is this sporting event on?
It's on their YouTube channel.
Okay, so okay.
It's up on
So
CBS Sports.
Yes, I think it's
Sometime-
CBS.
On Saturday, it'll come on CBS Sports.
Some of
so
the main events will be on CBS, I think.
the way I learn about a character, and the way I learn about an athlete learning their grind, is by watching them. Now, if there's only one event a year, how do you keep up with these folks? You just follow them on Instagram
And YouTube.
and
There's
YouTube.
like
there's more than-
there's more than one event.
There's more than just one event.
So is there like a group that documents all this? Like, what do I need to do to find these folks that
Just YouTube,
CrossFit Games?
or you can download the app and watch it on there.
There's like the Rogue Invitational that they do. There's different like competitions, but then they also do the Open that everyone's involved in.
Yeah,
and
that's
then they
what you
go to
do.
semifinals and then quarterfinals. So, or quarters and semis, yeah,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the games. So you can kind of see how they're doing.
You get out what you put in.
There you go. There you go.
So
That's not a bad list.
it's not a bad list.
Yeah.
Aside from-
Other side
Don't
from
ask
half
me to
of
repeat
your
that list now.
contestants not even being in the games.
We'll be able to go back and.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good list.
Maybe you wanna.
Yeah, I'll start it off. Number 3. This may come to a shock to you all that this is my number 3.
Okay.
Give me Laura Horvath.
Okay.
Laura Horvath is my number 3. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time explaining my reasoning behind all these because I feel like I'll be here for a while. But I will maybe explain a little bit of this one. Number 2, getting second place in her second CrossFit Games appearance.
Yeah.
Give me Paige Powers.
Wow.
Wow. Did not think you were gonna go there.
I know you were thinking Emma Lawson.
was thinking
you
Emma
were.
Lawson. Wow. Okay.
Paige Powers, I think, has proven in the Wadapalooza number 1.
Yeah, she won it.
She won it. Very good. And if you were to watch and follow her through the semifinals and the regionals and the semifinals, I think both of those, she would have placed much, much higher. She had one workout that she folded on for each of those events, which put her down. Other than that, she was hitting top 5s, top 4s in all the workouts.
What is her weakness? Why did she play so low in those?
I think it's running.
yeah.
Running.
Yeah.
Endurance is like
Yeah. I
Strong.
don't think it's in. Yeah. I think it's particularly running.
okay.
Yeah. I think that's her weakness. But you put any barbell in her hand, she's going to do pretty good.
Gotcha.
So I have her number 2, and also she's been just working out with Rich Froning. They've been pushing her, and she has. I mean, they literally have a stacked cast over there to work out with. Number 2. That's number 2. Number 1. Ellie Turner's taking the podium top spot.
Wow.
Ellie Turner is taking number 1. She placed number 1 in semifinals.
Won Australia.
She won Australia. She was working out with Justin Medeiros.
Yep.
Shows they've been pushing each other. I don't know how well she's going to. If she can overcome the endurance part.
She's strong as I don't know what.
Yeah.
If she can overcome that, I think she wins. Give me her for number 1. Dark horse, Gabrielle Magala.
It's a good one.
So good it made me sneeze.
Yeah. That's my list. I think that's I felt like that was a list that not everybody would have saw coming, but it's a competitive list.
Yeah, it's not a bad list.
I like that list. It's the best one I've heard yet.
Thank you.
It is the best one I've heard.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
I'm gonna look at my notes because
All right, Mitch.
Let's see if I can remember them. Hold on 1 second. All right, my number 3. I'm gonna go with Katrin Davidsdottir.
Okay.
She
Rising from the ashes.
Rising from the ashes. She did she win the West? No, Gazan won the West, but she came in second.
Second, I think. Yep.
She had a good showing, pretty steady. Again, that's third place. I'm not asking her to just go balls to the wall and win the whole thing. I just need you third place. Number 2, probably not the most popular pick. Not really my favorite in the slightest bit, but I'm gonna go Danielle Brandon.
Oh, yeah. I figured she was going to be on somebody's list.
I mean, why not? She had a really good. Shut up, Cole. She had a really good showing at semis.
Didn't she get crushed by Mal O'Brien in that?
Oh yeah.
She did in that open workout.
But then she did it again and did much, much better.
Yeah.
Yep, she did. She redid it.
She still didn't do as good as.
No, that was incredible.
She did do better.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean
Mal
to derail.
did that workout quicker than I can do Fran.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I thought that
Anyways,
workout was impossible.
so I went. I went Katrin at 3, Danielle Brandon at 2, and then I'm gonna go Laura Horvath.
That's a good pick. I figured you were going to. Yeah.
She is kind of like Medeiros
I like
to me,
Laura
where she's
Horvath.
super consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another and
As long as there's no
to your
hands in it.
credit,
Yep.
to your
Good upside down. Everything
Yeah.
else.
I think to your credit, she won the Rogue Invitational.
She did.
And this is almost the exact same field that was in the Rogue Invitational.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. That's a good,
your
that's-
credit.
That's a good point. My dark horse is actually your winner. It was Ellie.
Ellie, yeah.
I think she's going to do really good. I really think because she came in, I can't remember what she came in last year, but she's improved like miles.
She's drastically.
So
Yep.
that's my dark horse. Is Ellie Turner. So I'm ready because you kind of hyped your list up. I'm ready for this one.
Did I?
Last night you did a little bit.
Yeah, you did, Jarrett.
The guys.
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. See I'm very interested to see how the women's side turns out this year.
I'm more.
It's a
intrigued on it.
completely clean slate.
To me, the
almost-
two
yeah.
best female athletes are not in this competition, with Tia and Mal out, and then also with Brooke, who's podiumed before, and
She'd
then
have
you
been
all.
a top 5.
Yeah, I think she would have had a shot. And then also Rich's girl, Haley
Yeah.
Adams, is out. So number 3 for me, I'm sticking with Emma Lawson.
That's a safe pick.
Safe pick.
She hasn't shined so far, but I think she's fairly consistent in just about everything. I don't think she really, really excels at one thing, but I don't know that she really has a weakness either. So I'm going to go with her consistency, putting her on the podium. Number 2, I'm going with Laura Horvath. I think it's just a safe bet that she's going to podium. I think she could easily win, but I'm going to go put her at number 2. And my number 1 is actually someone who has not been mentioned yet.
Gabby.
No. Emma Carey.
Yep.
I'm going Emma Carey. I think she
Crushed.
dominated the East my opinion, she dominated the East in semifinals. Looked really good. And she's another one. She's pretty small, but she's freaking strong for how small she is.
Yeah.
And just good at a lot of things. Yeah. My dark horse, I'm going with Gabby Magala as well.
That's fair.
That's a good pick.
And yeah, I also had Annie and Danielle Brandon. I think any of those 6 could win. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked.
Which is
if
why
any of
I'm very intrigued.
them.
Very intrigued. Do we want to snake it back and end with Cole?
Yep. Sure.
You do the guy.
I think that would help Cole out a lot in his list.
Cole, are you ready right now?
Y'all go.
Okay.
Let's let Cole
I'm
be
just
the
saying,
bottom
I can
feeder.
go.
This is what I'm excited. Jared was.
So, guys, number 3, I'm going with Jason Hopper.
Yep.
I think in his training, watched a lot of his videos. He's super strong. They've worked a lot on the technical lifts, which he'll have snatch and clean and jerk, which I think he will probably place top 5 would be my guess in that event. He's also just a freak athlete. So
Receiver, right?
yeah, he played receiver at Clemson. So just think he's a well-rounded athlete. I think he's gotten stronger and he's gotten better technically. So I'm going to go Jason Hopper, number 3. Number 2, I'm going Justin Medeiros.
That means
Last couple of years.
Oh, 2 years in a row.
Yep.
About to make it 3, huh?
Yep. I think the field is closing on him, and I think I don't know that he's going to win any events, and I think he's going to creep more towards the 10th place in almost every event, and I just don't think it's going to be enough. So I think he'll podium pretty easily, but I don't think he's going to win it. I think that Jeffrey Adler is going to be the male athlete that sits atop this year.
That's a good list.
And for my dark horse, I'm going Dallin Pepper.
it's not bad at all.
Dale Pepper.
Yep. Old Dale Pepper.
Yep.
Yep.
My garden.
All right, I like that list. That's a very good list.
That is a very good list.
Thank you.
So my number 3 is I'm gonna go back to the well. He was number 3 last year, and that is Mr. Roman Krinikov.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
He
kind
was
of
number 2.
Who's 3? I think Ricky was. No,
No.
he was 2. Ricky was 3.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, because they like flip flop
Yep.
on the last day. Kind of nervous about that one though, because I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that Romans may not do as good this year. I don't know. He just made a splash last year, so. Anyways, that's my number 3. My number 2 is my top 2 is essentially what you have, sir. Just flipped.
Okay.
My number 2 is Jeffrey Adler, and my number 1 is Medeiros. I think Adler's strong as I don't know what.
Yeah.
So, and until Medeiros gets beat, I'm just going to keep betting on him.
That's a good. That's a good.
Hard to bet against him.
Well, we know who his national championship pick is for this year too. Then
The dogs. Coles is the Tigers of LSU. Yeah, and my dark horse is Luke Parker.
Okay.
he sounds like somebody we know.
He was on The Bachelor. Rhett.
That might be where
It's
I
a rookie
know.
this year, isn't he?
He's a rookie.
Rookie.
He was on a team last year with Independence with Angelo, and I don't know who the other 2 are, but they came in 3rd. I think they podiumed. Their team did.
I have a hard time keeping up with the teams. But yeah.
I know Rich and them won, obviously. But so yeah, I'm gonna go Luke Parker, rookie. He has the tools. He has the intangibles, as they would say.
That's true. Yeah.
Really, I have no idea if he does, but that's what I'm saying. I'm sticking to it. So
All right. So, I think all of our lists so far are going to be pretty close. Number 3, give me Roman Krinikov. I think he is going to podium this year because he has been working out with Rich Froning and the guys.
that is true.
And he's just, I think he's going to turn on the jets. He doesn't have to worry about the visa anymore. He doesn't have to worry about his family not being there anymore. He's all the stress that he had is kind of gone. He's going to be like performing with no stress. So I got him number 3. Number 2, Justin Medeiros,
All right.
which means number 1, the Adler of Jeffrey.
Okay.
Jeffrey
Wow.
Adler, number 1.
Look at us.
The reason being is just because how much he dominated the Open, the regionals, and the semifinals.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's so strong.
Yeah.
He's so strong. And he's been in the running. He's been a quiet dark horse for a long time. He's like Samuel Quant,
Yeah.
like how he used to be. He's just been a silent dark horse, and I think he's starting to smell some blood this year. And I think that's right. It's hard to go against Justin Medeiros, but it's so funny because of all the past few athletes, like when Rich Froning was competing and when Matt Frazier was competing, you were confident 100% that they were going to win almost every single event. But Justin Medeiros really relies on consistency, being in the 5th places, the 4th places, the 6th places, and it works out for him. But I would not be surprised if he won it this year still. I just got Jeffrey Adler winning it all. And my dark horse, Samuel Cormier.
Yeah.
Out of Canada. Good guy.
Mayhem too.
Yep. He had a really good showing at semifinals.
Was he on Rich's team last year?
He was.
That's right.
So I got him as my dark horse this year.
You know what I'm sad about? That Guy didn't make it.
I am too.
because dude, that
That snatch. That would have been sick.
They should put him in there just for that.
Yeah.
They should put
Just
him
have
like
him demo it.
like a marker.
They should
In front of
demo it,
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Isn't that what he does every time?
Yeah, he does.
Listen, all the reasons you've said it, I'm not going to harp on anymore. My boy Adler's, he's coming in 3rd.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Big Adler guy.
Okay.
I need you to name somebody we haven't though.
I got a few.
Okay.
Now, number 2, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm not going Justin Medeiros at all because I think
Medeiros isn't going to
I
podium.
saw it. I see it.
I think Medeiros didn't even place 3. He's not going to stand on the podium this year. You know why? Because I compared him now to the Georgia Bulldogs. And the Georgia Bulldogs and him, I don't like him neither now.
Okay.
So I don't like Medeiros.
Medeiros is actually like
So number 2, I'm going with Brent Thikowski.
That's a good. That's not
Okay.
bad. That's really not
that's
bad.
not bad.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities.
Number 1,
If
this is a winner.
this is he's
Don't
no.
you dare say Patrick Vellner.
No, Cole Sager.
Oh, gosh.
He's got a cool name.
Northwestern, baby.
Yep.
From Northwestern.
Hey, Washington Huskies.
Oh, he played at Washington?
says.
Washington.
Okay.
Running back.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like Cole. I like
like
as a
him.
Oh,
person,
yeah, he's
I
awesome.
love Cole Sager.
Dog. I'm telling you,
When you have to scrap and claw and get every point just to make it to the games, I don't know if you're going to win the games.
we'll see about that. We'll see.
It's not.
He's
quite,
been there for like how
Oh,
many
yeah.
10
years?
years in a was it in
Oh,
a
he's
row?
a staple. Yeah, I mean, he's just.
But that's Noah Olsen.
Oh no, Olsen is.
That's
So
I don't
he's
think
gonna
he's
win.
Who's your dark horse?
Dark horse.
Matt
I'm
Frazier.
only saying this one because y'all didn't bring him up,
Don't you say like Matt Frazier.
and I don't know why. I was gonna go Rich Froning. You can't bring up CrossFit and not say of like.
A true dark horse.
I did say I
would
did
not
bring him
see
up.
that coming.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I would not.
Matt
did bring him up,
Matt
technically.
Frazier was actually next to him when you Google men's CrossFit, so I almost went with him. Would he not be a good pick either?
No, he would.
have been a great
He
pick.
would be a great dark horse pick.
Yeah,
He just showed up and said, "Hey guys, I'm competing."
Yeah.
Okay.
but it's hard to pick guys that have retired from the competition. So.
It'd be like me saying
Yeah.
Brett Favre is going to win the NFL
MVP.
Tear up
MVP.
that mouth, Brett Favre. Let me go to more results, then I'll give you a real dark horse here in a second.
I need to insert
You know what?
some jet waiting music.
You know what? Give me. They're all women. I'm tired of this. Not Dan Bailey. He's obviously out.
I wouldn't do.
How about Jason Kalipa?
Nope.
He's been retired forever. Cole, go Noah Olsen.
Okay.
Say Noah Olsen.
Pat Vellner would be a good
Noah
one.
Austin?
Olsen.
Olson?
Olsen.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Noah Olson.
I like it.
Yeah.
Old school.
There you have it. There's our top. We will. We need to get it. I guess we need to record it, document it.
Yeah.
Well, this is documenting it, but we need to.
Yeah,
Get it in writing.
Yeah.
How my boy Cole does.
You're gonna watch it with us.
we'll let you
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
Watch party.
Cole Sager will be in around 30th.
I just realized I invited 2 CrossFitters over to my house on Saturday, so we'll actually probably be watching it Saturday.
It's not on this Saturday.
Saturday. Next Saturday.
Are we moving to our give it a segment?
You want to take a break or we want to roll right into it?
Depends how short you think this is gonna go.
How about this? What if we take a break?
Let's take a break.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
do-
probably
Let's
safe.
do good with it.
Yeah, let's take
For
a break
itself.
because Cole's leading it. So catch you after this.
Welcome back in. Guys, go with it this week. You're going to be shocked by this. It has nothing to do with food.
I know what it is.
Oh, do you?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, tell me. No, tell me.
No, nope.
Tell me.
I'll tell you if
Because
I'm,
I might have been getting in your heads and I might not have a good with it this week, and I was hoping that you would tell me a good with it so then I could say it.
Wow, you're playing chess over there.
So, what do you think?
Can't say.
No, just tell me.
Nope. I'll tell you after. I'll tell you if it is.
This is the
If
deal.
it's not, then I'll use it later. I'll holster it.
I want to preface this good with it in series by saying I don't think at first the three of you are going to be good with it, but you need to think. Don't make any rational decisions, but just think about it for a second.
Take the emotion out.
Maybe let me explain my thought behind it, and then come in and say it. But this is going to be some tough treading, I think, to begin with for me. I might die on a hill alone right here. Golfers, professional level golfers. Am I on the right track, Mitch?
Nope.
Okay,
not
there you go.
even
Yeah,
close.
didn't see that one coming. Golfers are not athletes.
Professional golfers?
Yeah, they're competitors. Now, what I mean by that is there's no physical competition involved in golf. It's not physical, a head-to-head, best the man physically. It's having your skills as a golfer, talents, out mental capacity the other player. Because golf, I think, is probably 95% mental. That you can probably have one of the best golfers in the world like Rory McIlroy, and then have a guy at the bottom of the list, and all of a sudden, on any given day, as long as he's in a better mental state, I think he could play just as good as Rory can, if his mind's in the game. Now, I'm not saying consistent over time. I'm just saying I think that golf is a game of competition, but not necessarily on the physical level. So when you're training, hitting golf balls or whatnot on the professional level, you're doing that to get reps, but you're not doing that to gain strength over edge of your opponent. You're doing that to gain an edge in competition. If you follow what I'm saying here.
So make your statement one more time.
Golf
Professional golfers.
Professional golf, they're not athletes. They're
Professional
competitors.
golfers are not athletes.
I mean, you can also have somebody like Phil Mickelson, who's could argue could be in a senior league right now, but he can place in the top 5 in the Masters this year because it's less of a physical demanding sport. You also can have somebody like Harry Higgs,
Yeah.
who's overweight, or somebody like Patrick Reed, who you could probably outrun them in a 5-mile. They couldn't even probably run a mile. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that they're not in great shape, because a lot of the best golfers in the world, they could probably out physical me in a exercise competition. I'm just saying it doesn't take that on a day in, day out to be the best of the best in their position. You just have to have the mental capacity, I think, to outperform. And as a result, golf's a more competition, toe-to-toe mental. It's not a straining physical competition like football, basketball, baseball.
So, what is another competition that you would like? Because I'm wrapping my mind around it, and I hear what you're saying.
I was thinking about that earlier.
Like, what would be another competition that you would like?
It's a game.
It's not a. It's
a game. It's a match. So
like chess.
Yes,
So golf is like chess.
in
So
a
you would
it's
say-
closer to that than it would be a football, basketball, baseball, sporting event wise.
And what would your here's and I'm trying to look it up. I can't find it. What's the definition of an athlete?
Merriam-Webster. I pulled it up. Okay. Athlete is a person who is trained in or good at games and exercises that require physical skill, endurance, and strength. Or
Jarrett?
a person who is proficient in sports and other forms of physical exercise.
Jarrett? What's your thought?
So here's what I would say. Golf is most certainly a mental game, but it's also, in my opinion, the most technical sport in the world.
Yes.
It takes precise timing. I think that it takes flexibility. I think it takes speed. And I think it takes strength to be one of the best golfers in the world. I would also make the argument that golfers get injured a good amount, especially over time. And so when I hear what you're saying, it's not like my physicality against your physicality that determines the winner of golf. But I do think it takes a good amount of athleticism to be a professional
What
golfer.
I'm necessarily saying is that the game of golf more or less is a competition as a whole, more so because again, the best golfers in the world, they're going to outdrive, they're going to outmuscle than probably the lesser ones on the tour. Okay. But because it's a mental game and it's a chess match more or less, it's a talent, it's a technique game, but it's also a easy it's a competition that there's such a fluctuation in the game of golf. I'm just trying to find the right words about this, but
Are you backpedaling again?
no, I'm not backpedaling, but I'm trying to find the right words.
So professional golfers are not athletes. They're competitors.
Yes. Based on the type of game they play.
Yeah, but the type of game they play and the type of game we play are two totally different. We don't go play 72 holes Thursday through Sunday walking.
Yeah, but that's
What
not
they do is-
that's okay. That's strenuous on a body, but that's not
It's physical
But
activity.
that's not against an opponent. Where you're running up and down a court in basketball trying to outman a person.
Yeah.
That takes physical toughness. Okay. More so than walking 72 holes. Is that easy? Would I want to walk 72 holes? No. But again, I think that if somebody at 55 years old or 60 years old can do that on a senior level tournament, then I think we could probably all do that. the average man can do that closer to than playing 4 quarters in a professional football game.
That's fair. Senior tournaments are just 2 days, though, I think. But
Well,
or 3. I see what you're saying, but I'm not good with it because they are athletes to me. I mean, they excel in a physically demanding sport or exercise. I mean, yeah.
It was Tuesday, in 1913. It was September. The first year that the U.S. Open was played in September. The USGA, right, United States Golf Association, decided that we were going to move the U.S. Open to September so that Harry Vardon and Ted Ray could come and play from England. Francis Humay was teeing up. As they came to the turn, Eddie, his caddy, 12 years old, a little under 5 feet, looked at a husky man and said, "Francis, who is that? Who's that fat guy?" He said, "Eddie, that's President Taft." He said, "Get out." I said, "Sure enough." So Francis Humay finished his round. And President Taft came and shook his hand. And one thing that Francis Humay saw was that Taft, when he was in office, was 335 pounds. He seemed like his skin had melted away and was now sitting at a whopping 250. His exercise regime: play golf in the morning and eat breakfast. Make breakfast, but don't eat it. Fool the appetite, is what he would say. That being said, if a 330-pound man can go out there and walk a golf course, then then golfers aren't athletes. They're even more than that. They're incredible athletes. Not good with it. Get out of here with that crap.
I will take that one.
Not good with it. Tiger Woods, flawless. Now, I will say...
And it's personally
on
the golf course.
Now, I will say, if you would have lined it up along the lines of golf is tier 2 in terms of athletic sports, then the American sport baseball or football or tennis. I'm kidding about tennis, by the way. Then I would have said, you're absolutely right. I'm good with it. Or if you would have even said that soccer players are not athletes, absolutely would have been good with it.
never have said that. Soccer takes a firm specimen.
Shout out Messi. But yeah, no, I'm not good with it just because of the fact that whenever I go play 18, my back hurts and I'm physically exhausted and I can't make it through an entire 18 truthfully, mentally ready, physically ready to go. So Cole, are you good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay.
What did you?
I'm not good with it.
3v1, backed in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
How does it feel?
I'll stand my ground.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That's a very thought-provoking good with it, though. I appreciate that.
You know.
I do. It made me think. I really had to search deep down what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Are you mad at anybody? Would you like to vent?
No. I understand. I'm working on my opinions. I don't. It's not. It's something that was brought to my attention a couple weeks ago.
This is the coming from the guy that said he's giving up golf.
Well, that's because I don't have the mental capacity that you guys do in the game of golf, and I give up too easy, and as a result, it shows on the course.
We can always work on that.
Here's a good topic for in the future too, because it got me thinking about different sports. Would you call like hunters athletes then? Because you could make now the argument.
Certain hunters are athletes.
Steve Rennell.
Oh.
Would you call Steve Rennell an athlete?
Yeah, I would think it depends what kind of hunting you're doing.
I think they're in shape. I don't think they would call themselves athletes.
It's just an interesting, thought-provoking.
Yeah, because then when you say that, you attach like the whole "it's a game" kind of thing, and then
I don't know. The more I sit here, the more I'm starting to back off my statement. But I'm going to stay firm. I'm going to stay firm. I'm going to stand firm.
That's fair. That's a good one, Cole.
That was. I appreciate the non-food.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to come up with a non-food good with it.
Not too bad.
It's never happened before, though.
I've had a couple non-food good with this. Thank you very much.
It's just, this ain't ever happened before, has it?
made it this far before saying that.
Well, there you have it. Professional golfers are not athletes. Are you good with it or not? Be careful. If you have golfers in your family or around you, they're offensive people. They get offended very easily.
Absolutely.
So be careful with what you say. But make sure you tune in to our next segment where we're going to dive into the book. Isn't that right?
Yep.
All right. What chapter are we on?
9,
9?
10, 9 or 10. Something like
9 or 10? Yeah. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.
Welcome back in to our final segment of the day where we talk about the book Men of the Word, how real men lead with courage. And the author says that courage is action in the face of fear. So we look at the story of Nehemiah and how he uses courage to lead his people, convict him to do the right things, and to become the godly man that we see in the Bible. So men of courage are not fond of saying, I don't know, let me check and get back to you. Nehemiah was a decisive man. He knew what God was asking of him, and when the moment arises in his life, he takes action and he goes and he leads the charge. He leads a people. We spent a few months, not too long ago, I guess last year it probably was, going through the book of Nehemiah. So this is a story that if you've been with us, you should be pretty familiar with. But a few points that Nathan, I don't know if we've ever...
Well, actually, the guy who wrote this chapter was Jonathan Rourke.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yep. Each chapter is somebody else different, right?
Wow.
I really think it was Bashutzel the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're giving him a lot of credit.
we have been. So what's the guy's name?
Jonathan Rourke.
Jonathan Rourke. All right. Jonathan Rourke has a few things to say about being a man of courage. That to be a man of courage, it takes conviction. We talked a little bit about this. Was it last week or the week before?
We talked about compromise last week.
Compromise, being men of conviction.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes a little bit hand in hand.
Yeah.
Was that last week or the week before?
We talked about compromise last week.
Compromise last week.
Yeah, but it was that same idea, I think, of
Yeah.
having a conviction and sticking
Yep.
to that conviction.
Yep.
I tell you what, one of the things I love Nehemiah's story, because like you said, Nehemiah was a decisive man. He was a guy that was confident in his decisions too when he made them. Had a lot of conviction. That's kind of where you read that quote. And then another one down here says, Nehemiah's unwavering confidence in God, which was evidenced and empowered by his faithful prayer life, gave him courage even in the presence of those who opposed him. Nehemiah was bold not only in his response to his enemies, but also in his interactions with his peers. So when you talk about being, having conviction, there's really nothing to me more encouraging than seeing someone with that conviction and sticking to it, being courageous to hold on to that conviction. One of the things I am learning though is, as we are convicted on different things, I may have a conviction about something that maybe one of you may not have. It could be, one of the things I get convicted about is making sure I read my Bible first thing in the morning. That's a conviction that I've held. It's not if I don't read the Bible in the morning and I read about the Bible in the afternoon, it's not something that is, it's not a sin for me to do that. And if you don't read the Bible in the morning, doesn't mean that it's a sin either. But that's a conviction that I have.
Yeah.
But I hold strong to that.
Personal conviction.
It's a personal conviction of mine that I hold strong to. So I do know that there's those personal convictions. But man, when you talk about a conviction between, right and wrong, right? When you know somebody has done something, when you are working towards righteousness, and I think of in Nehemiah where those guys, I can't remember their names, when they're building the wall, they're coming after him. They're spreading a bunch of lies and rumors that they're going to come and kill everybody. And he encourages everybody, hey, pick up your sword. We're going to go to war.
Yep.
But he was courageous in that because he had a conviction to be faithful to the Lord and continue building up the wall around Jerusalem. So that was pretty cool. You talk about having that conviction and being courageous in that conviction.
Yep.
Being able to stand up for those your convictions that you have.
And it takes initiative too. It's finding the problem before it is a problem, or before someone. It's the same thing of with the conviction that you have in your heart. It's finding that problem before you get called out by somebody. And it's great to have that in your life, but it's also, you've got to have that awareness in your mind, that conviction in your mind to say, hey, this is a problem. I need to stop. And that takes confessing with brothers and walking alongside with brothers and with your confessions, but it also takes initiative to find problems when you're leading your home, to see what needs to be done in the home and pick up the mantle, pick up other burdens in your home, and taking that courage to lead. And it takes initiative.
Yeah, it's good. I think when we talk about courage, I think a lot of times when we think or see someone who we would consider courageous, we often think that those people don't have fear. But I think he makes the point, and I would argue that I think fear is a prerequisite to courage. And so it's action in the face of fear. I think you're talking about probably like discipline. Discipline would be something that you don't necessarily need fear. That's just making the right choice. Courage is making the right choice in the face of fear. So it takes it kind of a step further than even what maybe discipline is. But and that's I think what you see in Nehemiah's life. There's a lot of things that could have gone really wrong. I mean, he could have been, when he makes the move to kind of turn on his peers essentially and tell them that what they're doing is wrong by charging the people so much excess tax and all these things. I mean, those guys could have easily just turned on him, and everything that he worked for to that moment could have just, fallen away. And so it's doing the right thing in the face of fear. Of course, all the defensive battles that he leads and all the things that he does. I mean, there's so much at risk, and he decides to still do the right thing. He talks about sacrifice being one of the main kind of barometers for someone who's a man of courage or woman of courage, that your courage should be others oriented. And so we're not courageous out of personal gain. We're courageous out of the benefit of others and out of the benefit of God's kingdom. And so first and foremost, our thoughts should be, how do I seek the Lord to be courageous in this moment so that the kingdom of God benefits, so that his people benefit, so that others around me benefit. If we're being courageous just for personal gain, then that's just selfishness. And so it does take sacrifice, and courage is others oriented. And then kind of coupling with that, on the heels of that is faith, right? So courage is also God oriented. And so again, when we're faced with those decisions of right and wrong, choosing what's right, not for our glorification, not for our self-gain, but for God's glory. And realizing that he's going to provide us what we need to be able to fulfill all that he's called us to be. And so relying on him, he talks about Nehemiah. We talked about this. Nehemiah being a man of prayer. He says petitioning the king took great courage for Nehemiah, but Nehemiah had already petitioned the King of Kings long before he ever appealed the king. And so it's important to see that prayer was the real fuel for Nehemiah's courage. And so it is a faith-driven action. It takes us on our knees before the Lord, asking, petitioning him for the courage that we need to face this world. And sometimes it's little things. Some seasons it might be big things that it may come down the road for you. Who knows what our culture, what our world, what our life is going to look like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, next year. And we've always got to be ready to be courageous in the face of whatever comes.
Yeah. I think, too, talk about sacrifice. Nehemiah was the cupbearer to the king.
Yep.
I mean, he had it all in terms of, he could have lived the rest of his life in comfort.
Yep.
And it would not have, he would never have to worry about a thing. But like you said, he sacrificed his needs for the needs of others.
Yep.
And that's really hard to do.
He didn't take compensation.
He did not. Yeah. He
was holding banquets for feeding people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
had a lot to lose.
He had a ton to lose, and he did it, like you said, though, out of faith, because of his convictions and who the Lord was. And there was an opportunity to rebuild the temple and rebuild the wall. And he knew that the Lord's work and the work that we can do for the Lord's people came first before his comforts, came first before anything worldly. I think of, if you talk about a modern day, this is not really a modern day, but from the movie Hacksaw Ridge, Desmond Doss, right? The guy who in World War II went to serve the country and was a medic, actually never fired a weapon, but stayed on that Hacksaw Ridge overnight, sacrificing himself for his brothers who were out there needing medical attention. You can all through history, just courage, and courage never comes from doing something for yourself. It always comes from doing something for others who are in need. And that's what courage is. And in this instance, it's doing something for the Lord that is needed, and there's a really good possibility, like what happened for Nehemiah, you're going to have some persecution, some difficult conversations come your way, and that's what Nehemiah did.
And I think in that sense, it's an imitation of Christ.
Yep.
Right. It's a perfect imitation of, not a perfect, but an example and an imitation of what Christ does for us.
Right.
And what he does for us on the cross, and sending his son for people who were in great need and had no way out. And so being courageous for the sake of others, meeting other people's needs when they can't meet their own, in a way is imitating Christ towards and to others. So it's great. I'll end with one of the last kind of things that he says. I don't think it's the very last, but one of the last things that he says, it kind of sums up this chapter. The more Nehemiah's faith was tested, the stronger it became. That's because his faith was not grounded in himself, but in God. The same should be true of us. When our hope is anchored in the Lord, we can have courage in the face of any circumstance. As the psalmist prayed, "When I am afraid, I will put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I have put my trust. I shall not be afraid. What can mere man do to me?" That is Psalm 56, 3-4. Our greatest fears melt away when we consider that God is on our side. Romans 8:31.
That's good.
Another great chapter. great discussion, great reminder of what it looks like to be not just a godly man, but a godly person, godly man, woman, father, husband, leader, worker, wherever God has placed you. There's opportunities to be courageous. There's opportunities to sacrifice. There's opportunities to serve. There's opportunities to love and to put action in the face of fear. And so that's our encouragement this week. Whatever comes up in your life, look for ways to be courageous, to stand firm, and put action in the face of fear. One other good pod. Sad Mitch had to miss this part. But we will catch him next week,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Good
And
to
maybe,
have all the fellas together again.
yeah, at least for most of the segments, we were all together.
Yeah.
Good to be back, boys.
And I just want to say, I had the opportunity to eat some amazing ice cream sandwiches, homemade ice cream sandwiches last night,
10 out of 10.
made by none other than Cole, one of the greatest athletes to ever live.
Don't ever forget it.
Well, join us on social media. Follow us on YouTube. We have some hats still available, so if you want some Good With It merch, message us, email us, goodwithitpod@gmail.com. Become a patron. You get some extra access, early access. You get some ways to get your thoughts and opinions across. We have to do some challenges if you become certain tiers. There's different tiers on Patreon that you can sign up for. Looking forward to CrossFit Games. Football is right around the bend. I think we are going to even do a Pick'ems League, a Good With It Pick'ems
Right. Yeah.
League.
Yeah.
So be on the watch out for that, and you can join us each and every week for our Pick'ems in college football in a few weeks. I'm excited and ready.
It's good stuff.
You guys have anything else?
Nope. Cole, you want to pray us out?
Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this day, for your opportunity just to get together, Lord, fellowship in you, Lord, and just enjoy each other's company. Thank you. For these men, who they are, I pray that you'll continue to work through this podcast, Lord, that will just encourage men and women, Lord, that will just build strength, Lord, and courage and love, and just show your love through all things. Lord, we give you all the glory, all the praise, and just name, amen.
Amen.